welcome to episode 17 of Me Dark Presents Scary Movie Madness. We are doing a Valentine's episode today.
Kind of.
We had different plans for this episode, I'm not going to lie, but we'll get into why it changed. Yeah. I just wanted to start off by saying, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Here, what we do is we just talk about scary movies. That's pretty much it. And we just bullshit through it.
I mean, we talk about scary movies, but it intertwines with other shit.
It does, yeah. We
usually go on tangents.
We go on some tangents with that. You could also follow us everywhere at Me Dark Presents. On Instagram, we play games a lot on the show, so you can participate in the games there, like Would You Rather and Head to Head, which
50-50, this or that.
Which is, it's pretty self-explanatory when you go to the Instagram, what every game is. We'll be closing out this show with a head-to-head, where we'll be drafting the best horror couples, which I thought was fitting for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Mm-hmm. I also recently figured out how to create chapters on YouTube. So
good.
If you do take in the show on YouTube and not just audio only on, Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, on YouTube now going forward, I'm going to try to backtrack to the old ones and do it. Just had to do like a bunch of reorganizing with how, all the shows, I was like archiving them and stuff. So now I'm going to be able to kind of go back and make some edits and changes, but the chapters will be a little easier to navigate. If you just want to hear about a certain movie or you just want to skip to the games, it'll be easier to do that on YouTube. We also have a cool giveaway going on. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we wanted to celebrate 1,000+ subscribers now, we'll say, on YouTube. And so we decided another giveaway. So this one is for Daryl's messenger bag with the wings on it. It's
Daryl
super
from The
cool.
Walking Dead.
Sorry, Daryl from The Walking. I feel like everyone knows when you say Daryl, but yeah, fair enough. Daryl from The Walking Dead. Lots of great interest on that post right now. So don't forget, you can comment on the giveaway post on Instagram or a comment on any YouTube video. So
cool.
Yeah, we did it in a really fun way so that we can engage on both, but we're, hoping that we get some more of y'all watching these videos because there's a lot of production value in them. It's worth it, I promise.
When does the giveaway end, by the way?
So it runs for all of February. So it'll end the last day in Feb, and we'll announce it with the podcast following.
Awesome. We've also been, before we dive into these horror movies, I've been kind of keeping tabs on the show WandaVision because it's like my favorite thing.
This is like
going
the new
right
opener now. We got to talk about WandaVision.
I actually didn't talk about it last episode because I was so into the Godzilla Kong trailer and how much it bothered me that I talked about that instead.
Which somebody on our post commented well, it's because King Kong was a baby on the island when you first saw him, and now he's grown. And I'm like, that's very far-fetched.
I guess that's one way to describe it. I mean, he's a big-ass baby, if that's the case.
I mean, it was the baby version of King Kong. So I guess that is what makes it logical.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I'm going to end up watching the movie, and I'll probably watch it and enjoy bits and pieces of it, but ultimately it'll be kind of silly. But WandaVision has not been silly. WandaVision has been one of the best shows that I've watched in a really long time. And I mean, my God, these past 2 episodes have been absolutely incredible. I also thought it was funny, I think it was 2 episodes ago, they showed, and this shit is all over the internet, and I don't want to spoil it, obviously, for anybody who hasn't seen it, but there's this image of Vision that we get a flash of where he's dead, and he's all grayed out, and he's got this huge indent on his head from where the Mind Stone was pulled out. And I was like, holy shit, it's amazing that this Marvel show can have just that moment that was scarier than anything in The Invisible Man.
Yo, 100%.
So she's just been puppeting around Vision's corpse this whole time, I'm guessing, is how it's...
Yeah,
and we're just seeing the shined over version of it.
Yeah, they show you that moment where she breaks in, right? And you see him sprawled out.
I love the little breaks in her little reality. It's just, it's absolutely amazing. So the original plan for this show was we were going to talk about, because I was sort of thinking when we first started this thing, we did all the slashers, right? Yeah. We kind of did a ranking of, we just picked 10 random slashers that were pretty much the classic ones, that they're the go-tos. And it was all right, let's go and just visit them and kind of rank them in terms of which one we like the most. And we always just stuck to the first movie in every franchise series.
Right.
So then that got me thinking, like, okay, eventually it would be kind of cool to do all the remakes of those, because I'm pretty sure almost every movie on that list has been remade in some capacity.
100%. Yeah. So many.
Now this is a slasher, obviously, because it's Valentine's Day. My Bloody Valentine was a classic slasher from 1981, right?
Classically
so I thought,
terrible.
Right. Well, let's get into that, because I thought this would be a nice little warm up to see if the idea for the show would work, where we would compare and contrast the original versions to the remakes, right? Because My Bloody Valentine also has a remake. Long story short, you and I tried to watch the 1981 My Bloody Valentine, and what happened?
I fell asleep.
You fell asleep.
Like, I was watching it, and then I was like, I hate this. It's not good. The acting is horrendous.
Yep.
Horrendous is being nice.
Yep.
Like, a good movie should make you get lost in the moment. Right. You should forget where you are and just be like in it. But no, I was like, now I'm watching people try to execute acting, and it's bad.
Yep.
And just the kills, I don't know. It was, I barely remember most of it because I was just like, I'm done with this in the first 20 minutes.
You fell asleep, you were in and out. I was trying to grasp onto something in the movie, because I'm like, all right, it'd be cool to do a Valentine's special. And this is that movie that I always hear about, but I've never seen. So I was like, this would be a great time to watch it, because I'll be watching it with fresh eyes. And it was an absolute train wreck. And I keep reading about the movie, and I'm like, this movie is like highly regarded. Like, it's one of the big slashers. And I was like looking at a list of, like, what horror movies for Valentine's Day. And this is like the top one on every list. Insane. But my goodness, it just wasn't. So I was like, all right, let's try to just watch the remake, right? So let's talk about My Bloody Valentine, the remake from 2009.
Yeah, we're just skipping that old
because
piece of garbage.
I was like, you know what? At least this one's modern. It should be it should be shot kind of nice. It should be somewhat watchable. So this one is directed by Patrick Lussier. So Patrick Lussier, not really much of a director. He started directing a bunch of Dracula stuff in the early 2000s, which you and I don't care about Dracula.
Nope.
He went on to direct that movie Drive Angry with Nick Cage that I've never seen, but obviously it's well documented, my love for Nick Cage. But then he went on to direct another film recently called Trick. A fun fact, Trick is a movie that my company did the visual effects on.
Oh, snap. Got 77 degrees of separation.
So now I'm talking about his version of My Bloody Valentine here. But what's cool about Patrick Lussier is he is a big-time editor in the horror field. Edited all the Scream movies. Edited Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
That makes sense. I actually, now that you say that, like thinking back to watching it, I'm like, oh, yeah.
There's a little bit of those touches in there.
The way that they position things and the cuts and stuff, it is similar.
Yep. He did Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So obviously he had a hookup with Wes Craven.
Yeah.
My favorite. Wes Craven.
Yeah, like this one should have almost been in that lineup when we were doing like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream, like
right. My Bloody Valentine.
It should have been in that. And we missed it.
Part of it. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, we probably would have just skipped right over it, watching 10 minutes of it like we had tried to.
100%. Yeah. But here's the thing: before we even go like rip it apart into shreds, it could have been good.
You think so? Because I don't think so.
See, I think that they had, just at the highest level, some of the most creative kills. Like, great weapon. Pickaxe is a great fucking weapon. Okay. It's a blunt force and it's deadly sharp, right? Like, so lots of cool things with that, but everything was so badly executed on the CGI front because like we said, it was a 3D movie. And so it was like this really great kill, but then it looked like I was looking at Wile E. Coyote's eye like fly out of the face. And I'm like, what the fuck? Did we just go to Looney Tunes land? Like, oh my God. It didn't even have a semblance of being realistic. No. And for the time, not acceptable.
Well, I mean, that kind of was that time. It came and went. Like the 3D movie thing was a big thing at this moment in time. If you remember, there was like a 3-year pocket where everybody needed to make a 3D movie because of Avatar.
Oh my God, fucking Avatar.
And there's multiple ways you can make a 3D movie. Obviously, James Cameron, he developed like this crazy technology to be able to do it where he would shoot with multiple lenses and all this stuff. A lot of people would just do the cheat to do the 3D stuff, which is more done in post. It's more of like a digital processing.
Is this around the same time that we saw Alice in Wonderland and they did that? And I was like, this is not 3D? Yeah. It was so bad. I couldn't tell if it was because I wear glasses. They do like a fake like post-processing version of 3D rather than filming it that way. Okay, yeah.
Obviously, filming it that way way more expensive. You need way bigger budgets to do it that way. That's why so many movies didn't do it that way, because they're like, look, this is a niche thing. We could charge a little extra for the 3D version of the movie, but let's face it, it's not a super popular thing that everybody's going to say, I'm not spending all this money on the movie to shoot it that way.
I mean, if it was done well, My Bloody Valentine in like IMAX with all the kill scenes, if it was good, would have been great.
Yeah, so you think it had potential to be good. I don't, mainly because the story sucks.
Well, the story does suck.
It's a stupid story. It's like this minor...
That would be my big bad.
Yeah, so you're in like a small town. The town's called Harmony. And it's like one of those like small like towns where the only industry is like one thing. And this town happened to be mining. Yeah, everybody works at the mines, the Hanniger mines.
Yeah.
The owner's son, Tom Hanniger, he causes some sort of drilling accident, and this forces a bunch of the miners to get stuck. I think it's like 6 of the miners get stuck. One of them kills them all with a pickaxe to like conserve oxygen for himself, but still passes out. They find him comatose in the rubble, the rescue team. And the way this one opens up is like he's in the hospital recovering from his coma, and he breaks out of the hospital. He kills everyone.
Madness.
Yeah,
like
it actually, it opens pretty cool.
That's what I mean. It's like they go hard out the gate. Like they do not wait.
No.
And
it's a massacre.
But even in that scene, it was like, all right, it's all great. And then wait, the guy on the bed, so clearly like not a person, right? Like remember?
Oh yeah, there was like a fake body on the bed.
Yeah, and it was like the proportions and the shape of the body just screamed that was like rubber or something. But again, that these are the flaws of like, all right, you watch this and you're like, okay, the story's kind of cheap and weird. Yeah, you did a minor. It's like the fucking fisherman in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I was gonna say that.
Very similar.
The character is not scary. A minor costume isn't scary.
What? To not see his face? You have no idea who's behind the mask. You can't even see the eyes?
It wasn't scary.
This is like clown to me. Like when you think of clowns, what makes a clown
have
terrifying?
Expressions.
Yeah, but what makes them terrifying is that you don't know who the fuck is underneath all that makeup. Like,
I mean, by that logic, any mask is scary, which isn't true. Not every mask or covering of your face is scary.
Well, funny enough, we have another movie about masks that we'll talk about.
Yeah, and we'll talk about how ridiculously scary those masks are compared to this.
But it is scary because the guy is enormous.
I mean, it is
breathing
subjective,
noises, and like if I, as a woman, if that was chasing me, I would fucking run for my life.
Now, what the fuck happens here? He breaks out of the hospital and kills all these people, but then he goes back to the mines.
It's like he wants to be there. I don't know.
And at the mines, I don't understand why this makes any sense at all as a setup. All the high school kids are partying in the mine. What group of high school kids it would be a fun party spot?
People in a shit town like this.
Oh my God. I'm like, nobody would ever do this.
This is like the equivalent though of like our generation going to the fucking woods. Like at least it's covered.
We used to go to like the high school and hang out.
No, not my friends. They were degenerate fucks and they were like side of the highway.
We did go to the woods too a couple times.
Yeah, gross. It was like,
I used to hate
you're sitting on this couch. Did someone pee on it, puke on it? Like, what are you doing? Do you know where this came from? No fucking idea.
I was so the kid. Like, I became antisocial pretty quickly because I'm like, all you fuckers like to do is hang out in the woods and like bullshit. I'm like, I'm going to go home and play video games.
I mean, I was the same. I never really did. Fun?
I don't understand.
Yeah. The few times I did go, like if you talk to one of my friend Matt, he would tell you, like the few times I went, I just made fun of everybody.
Yeah.
And there was only like one time I actually did drink and I hated it. And then I never really did it again.
So we have our character, Tom Hanniger, right? He's it's his like clique of friends that are at the mine.
Yep.
And he's dating this girl, Sarah. And, all their friends are there. They're all like very cliche, like all the red shirts. Remember we talked about red shirts? They're all very cliche, like dumb horror movie characters where it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is so easily avoidable. Like, your death is so easily avoidable. But
100%.
It's just, you have to set it up where like they're dumb teenagers because it's just a cliche horror movie thing to do. Now, one of the, you're mentioning how some of the kills are cool. I'm not a huge fan of the pickaxe. It's okay. The shovel kill I love, though. Remember the shovel kill through the girl's mouth?
I love the one step that they took it further with, where once she was completely severed, that the top part of her head slid forward because the shovel was like shoved in and pointing down, kind of. And so her face came down. And I was like, that's great.
Now, acting across the board, absolutely atrocious. Like some of the, like, again, like, is this like a prerequisite to like a cheesy like B movie slasher? Like, just be bad actors?
I mean, two of the main characters were just like models.
Oh my God.
Jamie King was a model first, and so I believe Jensen Ackles was a model first.
Oh, that guy, Tom, what a wooden nothing person. Zero emotion.
Nothing person.
Zero emotion.
We have Pinocchio, y'all. We casted Pinocchio.
The most forgettable, like, Ken doll blank face. Like, no
that's
character.
What he was. He was like a hot dude that girls put on their wall, and they're like, we'll throw him in this movie. So they still just go with that cookie cutter of like, all right, we're just going to go with a bunch of good looking kids.
It's terrible. I mean, it's just, I hated almost every casting choice was just bad. I mean, at least if you're going to remake My Bloody Valentine, which apparently has some sort of cult following, right? Like, give me somebody that is decent or recognizable just to add to the fun of it.
Yeah.
So after this whole thing in the mines again, you know, this whole debacle, like, they kill the guy, Harry Warden, I think is the killer's name or something like that. The police come and they kill him and they save the kids or whatever. But the Tom character, Tom Hanniger, he's so like distraught by this. He like leaves town for 10 years. I remember they just keep making it a point. Like every piece of dialogue in the first half hour of the movie is about how this happened 10 years ago.
Yeah. 10.
It was a decade ago.
Just fucking call it My Bloody Valentine 10 years ago then.
I'm like, they really want to make sure that as an audience, you understand.
They were 10 years younger then and 10 years older now. And everyone else is also 10 years older now. So in case you don't remember, this was 10 years ago.
And in that 10 years, his girlfriend Sarah has married the town sheriff, or, you know, who
was also their friend who was then dating Megan at the time. Convoluted shit here.
No, Megan wasn't in it. Megan is much younger than them. She didn't go to school with them. She works for Sarah at the grocery store.
Oh, that's not who I was talking about then. The girl that I was talking, not that hoe.
Oh.
The other girl who runs out naked.
Oh, Irene.
I think
it's Irene.
Whatever. That's the girl who was with Axel when they were young. Tom, the one who left for 10 years.
He was with Sarah.
He was with Sarah. And then when he disappeared, shit went wild and they were just like, oh, I'm just going to go with this guy. That's how small town this is. Though.
Right. Which
like,
is
there was no one else for you to be with?
So Axel, we learned very early on, is a D-bag, right? Because he's cheating on Sarah with her employee. The weird part is I was having a hard time like telling them apart. I'm like, can we cast people that look different from each other? Like, how much different does Sarah and Megan really look unless you see them next to each other?
No. They went like Hollister shopping, UGG wearing, you know, Starbucks pumpkin spice latte white girls in this movie.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So the whole premise here really is like Tom returns home, and it's a big to-do that like he's home after 10 years, but now the murder started again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, you know, this whole thing is like, they're going to do the whole song and dance about how, you know, the Harry Warden guy isn't really dead, or like, you know, there's some confusion about like Tom and like, why are you back? And you happen to be at some of the crime scenes and all this suspicion and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like I was saying before, like the story just sucks. I don't care.
Yeah. Also the unraveling at the end, like when they reveal that they were just showing you shit that didn't actually happen. I hate that. I fucking hate that so much.
It's just to fool you for no reason.
Right. But like there's ways to make it seem like the events occurred and then not that they just showed you something. Like they showed you him in the cage getting locked in by the killer, with his pickaxe. But then in the end, you find out like, no, he put himself in there, but then he locks himself in with the pickaxe.
Yep. Retarded. Like they try to do the Fight Club thing, right? And Fight Club has since done this way better than any other movie has ever attempted to do it. When they do those little flashback, it's like a little montage sequence of showing you pockets of the movie that you've already seen, but showing you that Ed Norton's character was just Tyler Durden all along. And they do it brilliantly. This one, totally fucks it up.
It's like they rewrote the scene to throw you off while you're watching. And then when they're unraveling the story, they swapped it. And it's like, no, that doesn't work. The guy would be in there in the outfit with the pickaxe in his hand, not the scene that we saw where he was just like scared and locked in this cage and they're like, what's going on?
I think the idea is that like, you know, they try to pull the wool over your eyes a couple times with like, it's Axel, it's Tom. Like those are really the two that it goes back and forth between in your head. And, Tom, they do sort of portray as he's going to be the good guy in the end because Axel's such a dirtbag. And, they do the little bait and switch where Tom was just playing innocent, or he has like these dual personalities and he has this crazy side and he's the killer in the end.
But it also just doesn't make sense at the end when they find all the heart boxes. Mm-hmm. Like what, Tom put all of these heart boxes there?
How bad are the hearts in the box? Like, it doesn't look like a heart.
They tried to shape it like a heart. That's the worst part of it.
I don't know. It just didn't look good.
But where am I supposed to believe that happened? Like, he just knew that Axel was going to this place in the woods with this girl and that she would be there, and he stacked the boxes there. Like, it doesn't make any sense, especially if he was gone for 10 years.
Yeah. No, there's a shit ton of plot holes from which
we could do this for hours.
It doesn't even pay to like get into it. I will say that there is one decent horror sequence in this movie that I liked, and that is the supermarket scene, right?
Oh yeah, because that's a great chase place to be in, like like how you get around. There's something else we saw that was like this.
What?
A supermarket scene. Can't remember what it was now.
Well, The Mist takes place in a supermarket.
Well, The Mist takes place in a supermarket. That's different.
I don't know.
I mean,
but
like
this
a chase.
one does have like some classic like slasher beats and elements to it that I thought were pretty good. It's like the one part of the movie that has a little bit of action and tension and suspense to it. And even how it ends is kind of cool with them getting locked in that back room. Although then they ruin it because they're panicking. They're in this room. They don't know what to do. They're like, I guess we got to go out the window. They're fumbling for the keys because the window's locked. And then when push comes to shove and he's about to get to them, she presses the panic alarm button. And I'm like, what the fuck? Just press that first.
The minute you got in before you did anything else.
What are you waiting for to press the alarm?
Oh.
And then to make matters worse, the alarm goes off for a while, which is a great like tension kind of noise to have going on in the background. And we'll talk a little bit about that in another movie that does it really well. Is like just the noises and how it can be scary. And that alarm going off could be this great chaotic ambient thing in the back. But as soon as Axel shows up to the supermarket to come and get her, like the alarm stops, like for no reason, really.
Every scene has a no reason moment.
Yeah.
Everyone. Like, I don't know. Like, we could talk about this whole movie for the length of this podcast and just how many bad points there were. Yeah. No, it sucked. I hated it. And I never want to watch it again. It actually was not worse than the original. That's the only thing I'll give it. Okay. So we're talking about 3 movies today. So we do have 2 more and then the head-to-head. Yeah. So we kind of squeezed this one in because we didn't really want to talk that much about My Bloody Valentine. Yeah. So I suggested let's watch Bride of Chucky. Yay! Right? And talk about like horror couples. I guarantee you these 2 are going to get drafted in the 100%. Draft later. So this one's directed by Ronnie Yu. This is the guy who did Freddy vs. Jason, which, have you seen Freddy vs. Jason? I saw it when it came out a long time ago. I always felt like they were weird too. It's like Godzilla versus King Kong all over again. Yeah. It's just like... That was one they played with fans for a while where like, I think there was one movie where like Freddy's glove comes out from the ground and like sucks Jason down to hell or something like that. They tried to do like this. Isn't it like Jason Goes to Hell or something? I think that's what it's called. I don't know. This one stars the great Jennifer Tilly. I actually got to meet Jennifer Tilly. Do you remember this? I do remember. Yeah, there's a photo of you and Jennifer Tilly. Yes. Which I'll probably put up on the screen right now. Oh my God, we should. Yeah. Oh my, not only that, but I met her. So I worked for a clothing company out in the Hamptons in New York, and we had a big partnership with the theater in East Hampton, and there was a few celebrities that were doing a reading. It was like Brooke Shields, Matthew Broderick, Jennifer Tilly, and we dressed them for the event. And I had to actually go work the event. I was the face for the company there. And I remember I was going to the parking lot, loading my car, and I saw her walking out. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was that girl. I'm sorry. I'm such a huge fan. Yeah, I was just like, oh my God, I love you so much. And she was so sweet. Like, didn't make really me feel like a jerk, and was just like, yeah. And she like took the photo. And then when I posted it, this is like early days of Instagram, really. It's crazy, actually. She actually like responded back. Oh, nice. Yeah, she was super sweet. So she's amazing. And I told you, like, she was one I always had a crush on as a boy growing up.
And hands down to me, the sexiest voice of all time.
Of all time. Even more than Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson is number 2, but I mean, it's a distant number 2. Like Jennifer Tilly, just my God, what a voice. Mm-hmm. So she plays Tiffany. She like basically steals Chucky's like dead body, his doll body, whatever's left of it from being torn to pieces.
She pays the cop.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes. She basically pays the guy off to do it.
Right. Okay. So she has now Chucky with her. And now we see her in like her little trailer. Like she's got this great little trailer. It's like the little character touches are nice. Yeah.
Like it's like decked out completely like her as a person.
I love that. I love when directors take the time to like put their character in a set piece that matches the character. It just really like rounds out the visual for me. Like
they didn't just throw her in like a dirty beat up trailer.
Right.
It was like glamorous and like girly and had horror elements in it, like the naked little dolls rolling around and shit. It's great.
Yeah, so I love the premise here because we learn that like the serial killer Charles Lee Ray, who is inside of the Chucky doll, he had an old flame, and that was Tiffany, right? Back in the day, him and her were hot and heavy. They were sort of like a murderous little couple together.
And they were engaged.
She's been trying to replace him all this time, and she's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go get the doll. I have his little voodoo book. I'll try to resurrect him. What's the worst that could happen? I think that's a cool little setup for this.
I don't know. I love it too. I just think like, again, you're not watching Chucky as Oscar award winning.
No.
You're watching Chucky for what it is, which is a murderous doll with some ridiculous kills and, a little bit of comedy.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of smart what they did here in hindsight, because the first one, they really do go for the full-on horror scare. It's the scariest one by far.
Oh yeah, they were definitely trying to be like, this is terrifying.
The second one is also like pretty seriously like attempts to be scary. By the third one, he does have a little bit more of that wisecracking personality, a little more jokey. And now here, they really just go over the top with like, if we're gonna reboot the Child's Play franchise, let's not fuck around. Like,
let's not try to make it seriously scary.
Right. And, let's just do the comedy horror routine.
Yeah. What was this? 1998.
1998. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, she resurrects Chucky. The chemistry between them is really great, and I think that's what sort of injects the life into this movie, because outside of the chemistry between Tiffany and Chucky, the story is fine. I kind of like the story that they write here, but the other characters again are kind of wooden a little bit.
Like you used Katherine Heigl, who's obviously a very popular actress, but like the boyfriend was a no-name. If you had gotten like a decent actor for the boyfriend, maybe the chemistry of the couple would have been
I don't think there. Katherine Heigl was a name at this point either.
She wasn't. No. I'm saying she grew to be. Yeah. But she was very young in this. This is like very early.
Super young. I didn't even recognize it was her until you said the name, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's."
She's pretty recognizable. You thought she was.
At first, I thought it was the girl from 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah, you thought it was. Oh my God, I can't remember her name. Alex Mack. She was the Nickelodeon show. Alex Mack. Yeah.
She sort of had that resemblance.
Or Julia Stiles, maybe you thought it was.
No, it was the younger one. I thought it was
the Alex Mack girl.
Yeah. So. Chucky and Tiffany, they're going at it back and forth. Like they have this little feud going, and she's like mocking him that he's a doll, and she brings home the bride doll for him. And
but I also love that she just mocks him for being out of touch with the times. That's my favorite part of this. Is like everything he does, it's like, oh my God, Chucky, it's so long ago. Like the knife is so played out. Like
you're talking about when they're going to with the feud they have with the killings later on.
I mean, it's throughout the whole movie that she's, they're always competing for whose is better and more creative.
I love it because he turns her into the bride doll. Right. And now we're off to the races because it's like, she's like, what the fuck am I going to do now, Chucky? Like, I'm a doll. And he's like, yeah, I know you're in this with me now. And we have to go get the heart of the Dambala, right? Yeah. That's on his corpse in New Jersey.
A New Jersey amulet.
The amulet of the Dambala.
Yeah.
So, she's like, you know what? I got a plan. My neighbor, Jesse, I can just pay him to drive us to your dead corpse in New Jersey. And, we'll force him to dig up the body. We'll grab the amulet. And then we'll just use his body and his girlfriend's body. Because I know he has a girlfriend.
Yep.
So, and Jade and Jesse, Jade is Katherine Heigl's character. She's willing to go, right? Because she's like, first of all, he's going to get paid. And second of all, she fucking hates her uncle Warren, the police officer, right? Played by the great John Ritter.
R.I.P.
Oh my goodness, John Ritter. Yeah, he's amazing and everything. So yeah, this sets off a little road trip. We get like a little Chucky Tiffany road trip. And like you were saying, like, you know, she does the little friendly competition with him with the kills, like the nails on the dashboard of the car.
Hilarious.
There's no way that would work.
No fucking shot.
No.
They would just fall.
It actually does. She's like bragging about it, but it doesn't end up killing the uncle. He just gets nails all over the face. And somehow they're able to like pick him up and lift him into...
He's a big dude.
Oh my God. Yeah, they lift him under like the little storage compartment of the bench in the back of the van.
I mean, listen, you can't start talking about what's unbelievable when you're dealing with a bunch of dolls coming, you know, to life from voodoo. So just take what you can, you know, run with the story as it is.
Chucky one-ups her by like blowing the hell out of the cop car behind them.
Yeah, he does the gas tank thing.
We get a classic shot, and they always do this in Chucky movies where he's like crawling on the floor like frantically.
It's always a person.
Yeah, it's just
and you're like, all right, you know that's definitely
a little person in a costume.
Yeah, it's like either a toddler or I don't know.
They do it later on at the end too, when him and Tiffany are battling at the grave, and they do like this really high overhead shot. So it's like, we'll just shoot it from really high up and really far away, so they could do like the really big moves of the fight because they can't do it with the puppets. So it's just, again, it's just little people fighting.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. Talk to me about when they end up at the motel. First of all, they get married, right? She's not even 18 years old.
No, she's like 17. She's just under, I think.
But what motel is this that you can get married?
So part of me thought it was like the Poconos area because they're on their way to Jersey. Mm-hmm. But where are they starting this out? Are they in Pennsylvania? Or are they coming?
I don't know.
I mean, that would tell me a little bit more if we look that up. Because the Poconos is like notorious, like for cheesy ass people who go to these places where there's like a heart-shaped fucking jacuzzi tub.
Oh my God. The room is so over the top cheesy.
I think
love it.
In real life, if you look it up right now, there's like a martini glass bathtub that you get in.
Holy shit.
In the Poconos. I swear to God, if you look this up, I'm going to look it up so you can put it on the podcast.
Wow. No, this just has
the vibrating
water
bed,
beds.
the water beds.
Hold on. Like, remember water beds?
Remember vibrating beds. If you really look close,
vibrating beds,
they rob them.
Vibrating beds I get for like, for like a motel, like cheesy thing. I'm saying regular ass people slept, me included. I had a fucking water bed.
My mom had a water bed.
Why did we do that?
I don't know. There's nothing appealing about it to me. Like, I feel like I'd get seasick while I'm sleeping. I'm going to puke in my sleep.
That's officially dead and gone. Like, can you even buy a waterbed anymore?
We should find out.
Oh my God. And now to put the
supposedly it's
waterbed,
good for like bad backs or something. That was what they used to say.
There's no way that's good for your back.
Well, my mother had like back issues. That was allegedly why she had it.
Yeah, they had no idea what they were talking about.
No, 100%.
This is before memory foam was
fucking
invented.
Bizarre. It's bizarre. God. Remember how, and like, you got to worry that it pops while you sleep. You just wake up soaking wet.
And
you
what a
yourself.
choice. You're in a motel where like people are honeymooning or getting married or whatever. It's like a sex motel. And you're like, you know what bed we should put in here where everybody's coming here to just, bang like rabbits? Let's put a water bed.
With a mirrored ceiling.
Having sex on a water bed doesn't sound fun.
The only reason I'm getting, first of all, how? There's no leverage. Yeah, there's no way to like.
You're just flopping around.
Stance yourself. What am I like? Hold your stance. Anyway. But also, I don't understand why they have the coin machine next to it. Because if it's a waterbed, how are you getting it to vibrate?
I don't remember the coin machine.
Yeah, when they rob them and they go back and you see the couple in the other room and she's counting the money and she's like, "Oh, leave me alone," kind of thing. The little coin machine is there.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
Oh, see? These are the things I pick up on.
Yeah, she fucking robs him of the 500. And
wait, but what does
Tiffany,
she say?
Thieving slut.
Thieving slut.
Yeah. I think it's thieving slut.
Yes, I love that so much.
Yeah, Tiffany's like, no way you're fucking stealing from us. Like, we need that money.
That thieving slut doesn't deserve a ring.
Oh my God.
That's what she says.
it's great because then she goes in there and like you said, there's the mirrored ceiling and they're having sex on the bed and Tiffany's just like there with the champagne bottle.
Looking up like, what up, bitches?
The fuck fucking flings it up there.
Terrifying.
Oh my God.
Last thing you see is a doll throwing a champagne bottle at the ceiling before you die.
That's
a moment.
Horrifying.
I mean, it's pretty epic.
And then Chucky comes in and he's like, he sees this massacre, right? And he's like, I love you.
Yeah, this is amazing.
And he's like, you are going to be my bride. Yeah, they go to town.
The plumbing works.
I wonder if all the plumbing works.
Wait, I'm crying.
Oh my God.
I love it.
That moment where it's like, okay, they're just going to show like a silhouetted shadow of Chucky banging Tiffany. It's like, yeah, they just went all out. They didn't give a fuck.
No.
They didn't give a fuck.
100%.
Yeah.
You knew it.
Yeah, so the format is basically like Chucky and Tiffany, they kill a bunch of people on the road trip, and then authorities start to suspect Jade and Jesse, obviously, of doing this. Jade and Jesse are suspecting each other the whole time.
They get the friend involved now.
Yeah, the friend gets involved.
You can't possibly have done it because you guys both sound like you're in disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
And so he starts to believe it until he realizes that the van smells like death.
The van smells like death.
Literally death.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, fuck, they did do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets hit by a truck.
Yeah, well, because that's when Chucky and Tiffany are kind of like, oh, jig is up. Like,
yeah, fuck. But now we got to tell him.
Yeah, we got to make sure that we reveal ourselves here because if we don't, they're going to get arrested and we're not going to get to where we got to be.
Yep.
There's one other scene that always sticks out to me and that I do really enjoy is the scene where they've stolen the caravan from the old couple. They've killed them.
The RV.
The RV. And, they're at the home stretch and like Tiffany's like riding this high. So she's baking Chucky the Swedish meatballs.
That's what I was going to say.
And the cookies.
Best Swedish meatballs anywhere.
Yeah, they're like playing husband and wife. Like they're in like the honeymoon phase.
They're in the honeymoon phase. She's like, da-da-da-da-da-da, like skulking around. But then the couple realizes like, oh, we could play to this. And
they play to it.
The boyfriend's like, oh, she's not much of a
housekeeper.
And he's like, hey, clean up.
Hey, Tiffany, those dishes ain't gonna wash themselves, And
then she's like, I mean, the least he could do is clean a dish. And that just the eyebrows, and she's like, "You fuck!" And like starts throwing plates.
That is a great. Now that I think about it, that is
so
a great
good.
scene.
And then he starts yelling like, "Who taught you how to bake cookies?" Like, and then forget it. Now she loses her shit.
Well, yeah. As a result, this opens up Jesse and Jade to take the power back, right?
Yes, because they're feuding.
Yeah. Jade kicks
Tiffany
into the oven. She's like fucking cooked at that point. And I love the little biff that Jesse gives Chucky, and he just flies out the window.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But that's like, things start hitting the fan there.
So now what I don't understand is how from this do we get to the cemetery at the end? It's just like they kind of, where they crash the RV is where the cemetery is.
Yeah, it's just like.
It was like perfect timing.
Yeah, it was just like, all right, well, this is what we're going to do.
Now, what do you think of Tiffany giving birth in the end?
Oh my God.
To Chucky's child.
It actually cracks me up.
Oh my God. But they just had sex like a day ago.
I know, but like, is there logic here?
No.
They're dolls. And it's a demon baby with like bat teeth.
Unless they're shark teeth.
It's like,
what kind of genetics did he inherit that he has shark teeth?
I mean,
this launched that movie Seed of Chucky, which I've never seen. It just looked retarded.
Yeah, we saw a Seed of Chucky.
You might have. I have not.
Yeah, I don't love what they did with his son. They made him like
Is Chucky in it?
Yeah, they're all in it.
Oh.
Remember, Chucky says, I always come back. But dying is a bitch.
The exact thing you're talking about is why I avoided the movie. The visual of his son sucked.
When you watch it, it makes sense. We should probably watch it now that you're being annoying about it. But the way that they're doing it, it's to create the conflict that he doesn't want to be a killer like his parents.
Oh.
So like he's born in this demonic baby, but like he's like good.
But he's sensitive. Yeah. He's emo Chucky.
He's got the good side of Tiffany. Tiffany is clearly bipolar, and she goes through those moments of like being loving and cute and whatever, and then she goes into like
rage mode.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you with the mirror on the ceiling.
Hilarious.
Or nails in your face.
All right, we're gonna finish up with one more movie and then close out with the head-to-head of the best horror couples.
One of my favorites.
This is one of your favorites. We've referenced it a couple times on the show.
Yes, because it always comes back to this.
The Strangers from 2008.
Yep, with the beautiful Liv Tyler.
The beautiful Liv Tyler, directed by our boy Brian Bertino, who we just recently covered his most recent film, The Dark and the Wicked, which was a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
So Brian Bertino, man, I mean, I think he's got to be a go-to for us in terms of
we should probably be looking up other things.
Yeah. Very, very small cast in this one, but it does star the great Liv Tyler. She plays Kristen McKay. Her and her boyfriend James, played by Scott Speedman, are staying at James's family vacation house after a wedding reception, right?
And after a failed proposal.
A failed proposal.
Happy Valentine's Day, bitches.
Yeah, I mean, when they get back to the house, it's like 4 a.m, but there's like rose petals everywhere. He's got candles all lit up.
Dinner ready to be
He's got champagne. You know, he was ready. He was like, "We're gonna celebrate. Like, I'm gonna propose to her.
This is gonna be the best night of our life."
Yeah,
I will say, like, dudes, don't fucking propose to your girlfriend at someone else's wedding
in the parking lot, no less,
or just the same day. Even don't do that.
Yeah, there's got to be a better idea.
Yeah. If there's a surefire way for her to say no, it's like that.
So yeah, it's a great little setup for this because it tells us a lot about the characters in a short period of time, which I always love because obviously you only have so much time in a movie. Tell me as much as you possibly can because I'm sure there's a lot of other more interesting shit you want to get through than just sit through a bunch of character development.
Yeah.
So obviously we get that they've been together a pretty long time, right? For him to be like ready to propose and pretty positive she was going to say yes. And now the fact that we know that she rejected him, she turned down the proposal. Within this 5 to 10 minute span of getting to know these characters, we know, okay, they had a long relationship, but clearly there's something wrong here. There's a conflict here that they're kind of fragile right now. There's a fragility here. So this really sets the stage for what's going to come, and what does come is pretty horrific. This is your greatest fear, a home invasion.
This is definitely my greatest fear. There was like one night when we first moved into this house and we were doing the upstairs and we were sleeping down in the room over here. Yes. And to our left is this big door that doesn't have curtains on it or anything. And I remember seeing lights all through the window in the yard out there. And then I remember getting up and I'm like, babe, there's someone in the yard. There's someone in the yard. And I was like freaking out. And it was like 2 a.m, something like that. It was late. And luckily it ended up being like the police knocking on our door. Yeah. And they're like, hey, we got reports of like someone in the backyard over here. And I was like, no, we were sleeping. But like that was a moment in my life where I'm like, I'm a new homeowner. Like, what the fuck is going on?
That was scary.
I freaked out. It was so scary, especially being woken up to it. So yeah, this movie for me hits all the marks.
So we get a knock at the door and they're like, it's 4 a.m. Like, who the hell is here at 4 a.m? And, you know, then they just kind of look at the door confused and then another knock and they're like, oh, what the hell? So they answer it and they hear a voice. Is Tamara home?
It's like, what?
Yeah, and they can't really see her, right? Because she's unscrewed the porch lights. Yeah. So everything is just kind of black, like you just get a little sliver of light on her face.
You know, she's just like a young blonde girl. That's it. You wouldn't be able to describe her to police beyond that.
So he's like, yeah, I think you got the wrong house. You know?
He's like, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure.
She's like, okay, I'll see you later.
The see you later. No.
Yep.
I'd be like, no, you won't. See me later. What does that mean?
I love it.
Additionally, would have called the police right then and there.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I'm sure the guy's like this fucking drunk.
Because, he
girls on drugs.
Exactly that. He probably chalks it up to...
Yeah. So realistic. But again, like, just depends on the people. If this was me and you'd probably be like, no, babe, it's fine. Like,
right,
she's
let's
just
go back
annoying.
to bed.
And I'd be like, no, I'm fucking calling the police because this is crazy.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the delivery of the lines, is Tamara home? I'll see you later.
All right, see you later.
It's just perfectly creepy.
Enough where they're
and
even
off, like, where it's just like something's not.
Yeah, this isn't normal. Something's weird. And the doors, let's just talk about the doors in this movie.
You gotta think for the doors.
I do. I just feel like the house that they picked for this is so perfect.
It does really work.
Like there's something about the way that it's set up.
It's a very warm tone house, and with the candle lighting,
it just feels like a cozy
just the
moment.
light. Yeah, just the lighting in the house is very subdued and warm. So it's like, yeah, you feel cozy, right?
Yeah, it's
when you're in the house, but at the same time, you're like, there's so much scary shit going on.
Yes.
That juxtaposition, it really makes you feel uneasy.
I always look at it as like the house represents like this feeling of love and comfort. Mm-hmm. Right. And so like
it's a family
and the
home.
Strangers coming in and like disrupting
right.
it. So like it's such a cool kind of thing there. But the doors, the knock on the doors, the way that you can get that really heavy sound, like those doors were key to this movie, in my opinion.
Insane.
For like these scenes.
Yeah. So James steps out. He calls his friend to come pick him up. Mm-hmm. He's like, you know what? I just come as soon as you can. Come in the morning. That way she can take the car back by herself, and we don't have to. It's just
they were supposed to do a road trip.
Yeah, it's just awkward now.
Yeah. He's like, road trip's not a great idea.
So she's in the house alone now, right? And she's like nervous. She's kind of freaking out, right? She's like smoking. She puts a record on.
Yeah.
Really great.
Doesn't really know what to do with herself, which I love.
The music is great though. All the record plays in this movie are really key to
curating that soundtrack and getting it so spot on. The records were perfect. Like I wouldn't imagine anything else.
Yeah. So while she's freaking out, she gets another knock at the door, but this time it's like just that one knock. Bang. And Liv Tyler does such a good job of that visceral reaction of
the
like
neck.
Yeah,
this particular moment
what she does with her upper body, like it really feels like it scared her, like
shit.
It's and we get another is Tamara home?
You were already here.
Yeah. Are you sure? Oh my god.
Yeah, this is how much I love this movie.
It's nuts. Yeah, so she goes back into the kitchen. She's smoking, and I love this shot. I've always loved how cool this shot is. This is our first shot of the man in the mask.
Fucking terrible.
And he just sort of like appears from the bedroom behind her, and he's out of focus a little bit. And she's just sort of like, she just doesn't know he's there. And they kind of play this scene just the right amount of time where it's like suspenseful. And, you know, you're not sure if he's going to approach her because she's got her back turned. And at this point, anything can happen.
Yeah.
And no, he just sort of sinks back into the background. And now she starts to hear a noise outside the house.
By the side doors.
So she opens the window and the man in the mask is there. And he does that hit on the glass with his hand. It propels her backwards and she hits the record player. And the record just starts skipping at this one spot over and over again. Just like what I was talking about with that ambient, kind of annoying, constant banging sound in the background.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, all of the strangers there's 3 of them total. They're all just running around the house, like hitting the side of the house as loud and as hard as they can.
It's like literally a nightmare. Like I think about this right now. Like if someone did that to me in this house, I would lose my mind. I don't think I would ever be able to be in this house again.
I mean, I feel like that'd be a hard situation for anyone to keep their composure.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, at this point, like it's such a great segue for him coming home. Right. And like being like, what the fuck is going on? And all
he comes home. He doesn't really fully understand the magnitude of the situation.
No,
right? Because he didn't experience what she just did.
Yeah. He thinks she's seeing things. And I think back to what you were saying about it, building the characters here. What I always took from that moment is like part of where the tension and her uncertainty about him comes from, right? Is like how quick he was to like question what she saw and not believe her. And it's very subtle because he's like, what are you saying? Stop. What do you mean a mask? What kind of, she's like, I don't fucking know. Like a fucking mask. Like, you know, just the fact that there was a man with a mask should have been the only thing you had to hear.
Right.
And you should have been like, what the fuck? Let's go. But instead he's like asking her a million questions, and then he's walking through the house, he's opening the shower curtain, like, look, see,
and
nothing.
On top of that, he's getting angry and frustrated with her because she doesn't know where her phone is.
Yeah, and it's like,
and
she's telling you they
she's
took
like,
it.
I can't find my phone. Like, they took my phone. They must take my. Obviously, he throws it in the fire. We get that shot of the phone in the fire, but she doesn't know that.
She doesn't know it was there, but she knows that my phone was dead and I plugged it in and it's not here anymore.
Yeah, so he's frustrated because he's like, come on, your phone is somewhere.
Yes, I would kill you at this point. I would literally kill you. I'd be like, oh, okay, so the man in the mask's gonna kill me, but I'm gonna kill you first. Like, so
it's good to know that we both would thrive in this situation because we'd be so calm and reasonable with each other.
I would be calm and reasonable as long as you were listening to me.
Oh my goodness. They really are like ninjas though in this movie, aren't they? They kind of just find these ways to go in and out of the house without being detected.
Yeah. I mean, at some points it's almost unbelievable, but like you're also in a wide open space and things like that. And it's easy for them to be positioned right behind a tree, like quickly, or, like run to the side and that's not where she's looking and it's dark and all of that. But it makes for it so much more of that tension of like, are they or aren't they watching?
No, I mean, I think Bertino does a really good job with hitting all the right pacing beats in this one, right? Because it is really about, when you break it down, there's not really a tremendous amount of story, right? It's not really that kind of a film. And I've heard that this film, it does tend to get a bad rap with some people because they're like, there's no story. But I think you missed the point of like, it's more of just a practice in tension and suspense.
Yeah.
And that's really what the movie, because even in the end, when like they ask them, why did you do this? Right. And she goes, because you were home.
It's that simple.
There's no real reason why it was you. You didn't do anything special.
Right. They just set up like why you want to care about these two characters and what's going on. And then like how traumatic this is on top of everything else that happened. And it was truly like, maybe if they didn't leave that wedding and go there, this wouldn't have happened, So like, to me, like that is enough, right? Like you compare back to Bloody Valentine where they try to do this elaborate story and you're like, this is a nightmare. Yeah. Like I can't even keep up with what the fuck is going on because it's a mess. So there's definitely a line of like not enough and too much.
Yeah, that movie spends so much time trying to weave in and out this stupid story,
and no one cares.
And you didn't spend any time actually putting me on the edge of my seat with fear or suspense,
or
like
making any of it logical.
Right?
Like it doesn't even work. This all works.
Yeah, and it is completely random, which I think adds to the creep factor of it, the horror factor of it.
Yeah, they're clearly just like patrolling the neighborhood, waiting to see for someone who drives into a driveway, and they happen to do it. That's what I take from it. And the fact that it's two women.
Yeah.
Like the fact that this lineup is two women and a man is even more crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little different. They're shaking things up there.
Yeah. Like that was one of the things that I loved about this movie the most too. It's so unexpected in that sense.
Right. So at this point, like shit just starts to ramp up more and more, right? And he's like, I gotta find my dad's gun. So he gets the gun. He has to put the gun together. Has to find the bullets. He doesn't really know how to use the gun. I'm like, oh my god, like this is like that's the suspense, that tension building up of like him trying to figure out what the hell to do.
Yep. I want to point out again though, you get another nugget about gaps in their relationship where he says that he doesn't know how to use the gun. And she goes, I thought you went hunting with your dad all the time. And he goes, no, I never went hunting.
Yeah, he lied.
And she's like, what else don't I fucking know about this guy?
Yeah. That's true. They do kind of weave in those little relationship bits, like trying to clue you in on why she didn't say yes.
It's just kind of, I love that it's so like quickly done. They don't harp on it.
Yeah, no, it's subtle. And right around this time, his friend shows up, right? The friend that he called to pick him up. Played by Glenn Howerton, the great Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
One of our favorite shows.
He plays Dennis.
Fucking Dennis.
I love the slow, suspenseful walk up to the house. And again, you can hear the record player going from the outside. And there's this country song is playing, I think. Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, something ain't right here. I'm going to grab this here item that
weapon.
looks like a weapon. And I'm going to walk in and see what I can do. And again, the suspense of it, the slow movement, knowing that they're sitting in the bedroom just waiting for someone to show up. They had the best spot.
They do have the best spot.
Legit ideal situation.
Well, he even says, he's like, we're not going to die here. We're going to sit right here. I'm gonna point my gun,
and if I see somebody
at that door, and I'll just shoot whoever comes in.
Yep.
We'll wait till morning, no matter what. We're not gonna. And it's like, that's actually
that was the perfect plan.
It's a very logical.
Even
plan.
after you killed your friend, just stay there.
Well, that's what happens. Is his friend ends up in the doorway. And he fucking he shoots his friend. It's a perfect shot right in the head.
For someone who doesn't know how to shoot.
That's gotta be, that's a living nightmare. That's frustrating as hell now.
Yeah, he didn't have a mask. He didn't have a mask. And she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean he didn't have a mask? Yeah. Like, and everything runs through your head of like, who would it be if they didn't have a mask?
And it is his worst fear confirmed.
Yeah.
And at this point, what he probably should have done was, okay, keep my composure, reset, stick to the plan.
He's already dead.
Just
nothing I can do about this right now.
Let me back up against the wall again. I'll reload, and but he doesn't. Like, he just loses all control.
Human emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Well, at that point, I think.
I also think that that's so fucking real.
Mm-hmm. And I think in James's mind, and in James's mind with that character, I think part of him, like, he's like, I need to kill these fuckers now.
Yeah,
like,
now he's like, this is
now I'm hunting them.
Yeah, this is now no longer a fucking game here.
He fucking sucks at hunting them because he gets caught.
He's terrible. Right away. He's an idiot.
And then she's terrible at just running away. Like, she's not 10 feet from the house, and she just fucking busts her ass.
No! The pinup girl hits her with a pipe in the leg or something, because then you see her. Yes, that is exactly what happens. She is running and doesn't see anything because the girl comes out of nowhere, hits her in the shin, fucks her up with like a pipe.
And then she just walks away and lets her go.
And then she falls. This is the stealthness of these characters, right?
They are ninjas, man.
They are. And then you see her crawling, and if you remember, you see pinup girl behind her holding a weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like that.
This is the one section of the movie that doesn't do much for me, is her in the shed. The
radio?
Yeah, with the radio.
I do sometimes forget about that scene.
Mm-hmm. She eventually ends up back in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is another one of my favorite scenes where she's hiding in the pantry. And we get a bunch of those cool camera shots from inside the pantry and where you can just see
the slots.
Yeah, the man in the mask is sort of like lurking around the house, and she's just sort of terrified.
At the table.
Sits at the table.
Sitting at the table, I would have been like,
oh my
motherfucker.
God. And then the blonde girl shows up, Dollface, and this is our setup for the finale.
Yeah, but even in this moment, she terrorizes her in the cabinet and then walks away.
Yep.
She just terrorized. It's just like every ounce of terrorism while it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Is what they are going
for. Oh, yeah. They're
for.
Just playing.
They're literally toying with them.
Mm-hmm. So now it's the next morning and they're tied up together. What I love here is he makes it a point to have them all take their masks off. But he also makes it a point to not actually show the audience their faces anyway.
So I love that because in my mind, taking off the mask signaled like there was no way they were going to let them live. Because they could have left with the masks on and nothing could have been done about this, right? You didn't know who it was. But when they show their face, you know, like, nah, that's it. Like, you're letting me see who you are.
But you're not letting the audience see. It's sort of that play on, you know, don't show your monster that much, or avoid showing your monster as much as possible. And it's cool because, you know, he understands, well, I have to show them, like, they're the antagonists. They have to physically be in the scenes for them to work. But I can do this thing and sort of flip it on its head where, okay, when it comes time to reveal their faces, I just won't show them then.
Yeah. You're just like,
so it is kind of like you never really see them.
I also think it's good because they're not characters you're supposed to know exist. It's not a reveal of like,
they're just randoms.
It was his brother.
Right.
Like, it really just solidifies that this is completely random. They have no idea who these fucking people are.
They are strangers.
They're
strangers to the audience.
All the way to the end, they're strangers.
It's great. What I don't love, though, is that Kristen's still alive at the end. It did kind of feel a little forced to me, almost like, you know, it's such a dreadful ending, and because it is an American film, we need to just show the audience that it, you know, no, it's not all bad. She lived. And I'm just like, it would have just had such a more like tragic really like that would have been such like a heavier tragedy.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our finale here, head to head, drafting the best horror couples.
Bum bum bum.
All right. And you, my dear, have first pick here.
Oh man.
So, I mean, there
what
are
is
some
it gonna be?
There are some legendary iconic horror couples out there. What is your number one
choice on this list for Beetlejuice? I'm gonna go with Chucky and Tiffany.
That's your number one.
Yes, because I love the savageness. Tiffany is one of my like favorite female characters who are murderous.
Yep. I would have definitely picked them as my first pick.
I know. And that's why I needed to take it now. That's why I was debating.
Solid pick.
Boom.
I love it. There's a lot of great ones on here. What's funny is Beetlejuice is definitely very high. That couple of Barbara and Adam Maitland, very high on my list. But you were sort of poo-pooing them as not being.
No, I guess I just don't put Beetlejuice in my head as horror. So that's why. But
I mean,
I like them.
There's horror comedy in this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Ed and Lorraine Warren from The Conjuring. They're actually a real life couple. This is based on a true story.
I would have taken that one.
Yeah. No. What is it? What's her Vera Familia? I can never say her name.
Vera Familia.
And Patrick something. I forget his name too. But just an amazing movie, amazing characters. I love them.
Pick number two. See, I don't feel like for me The Strangers is like a favorite couple because I feel like a favorite couple has to be like people I'm rooting for, and I was just not rooting for them as a couple, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
It could just be you enjoy their performance in the horror movie and their dynamic. It's not like we're not trying to draft like a celebrity power couple.
No, but I'm saying like, all right, if I'm thinking about these people, I'm gonna go classic. I'm going Morticia and Gomez Addams.
That was gonna be one of my picks as well.
I know. That's why I had to sweep it from under you.
Classic horror couple. So you got two very strong picks out the gate. I think.
Morticia is a vibe. Like I would be a Morticia for sure.
For sure.
Yep.
Morticia and Gomez are amazing. They're hilarious.
Yep.
Where am I gonna go? I am gonna go with Barbara and Adam Maitland in Beetlejuice. This is Alec Baldwin and who's the other one? The one from League of Their Own. What's that actress's name?
Gina Davis.
I mean, they are incredible in that movie. And then they do that's like a classic couples costume for Halloween, is them with their dead faces.
Yes.
Right? He's got like, one of them like elongates their jaw really wide.
Yep.
I think he's got like eyeballs on his fingers or whatever.
All right. So we're on to number 3.
Yep. You have Chucky and Tiffany, and you have Morticia and Gomez.
I already know what my third is.
Okay.
This is because it's one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
Kim and Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, all right. That's Winona Ryder and Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, man. What happened to you, my friend?
So that's your third pick.
Yeah. I mean, again, I like some of these classic pairings. They're iconic. I got 3 pretty iconic ones.
I think so. So I have The Conjuring and Beetlejuice. This will be my third one. Best horror couple remaining. Seymour and Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors. That is a great one. Well, I mean, since you're kind of going a little more classic, I'm gonna stay and be a little more modern here. I already have The Conjuring.
Yep.
I will take Columbus and Wichita from Zombieland.
Ooh, that's an interesting pull.
I love their dynamic in that movie.
I do love that too because it's got the comedy. Yeah, you got everything there. I mean, it's a good pick. All right, my last one.
Last one.
Gotta make this one good.
Now, do you need to go a little more modern here?
I do. I know I do. It's just a matter of like which one. I love that you have dragged me to hell on you. You tricked me, you whore! I'm going with Grace and Daniel, Ready or Not.
Okay. That's an interesting one because he turns on her pretty much, right?
Yeah, but I love her.
Yeah.
And I love that it does end up like that. So, like, to me, that's a good pick here because, you know, I've got a good balance of character relationships, if you will. Morticia and Gomez, it's kind of like me and you, just without a bunch of creepy kids. And if we were murderers, we'd probably be Chucky and Tiffany. And
so you're trying to mirror your picks after us.
These are just my explanations on my choices.
I love it. So I got one more pick here. Maybe I need like a classic.
I think you need a classic. You have a classic because you have Beetlejuice.
I have Beetlejuice. I'm going to have to stick maybe in the 80s here. I'm going to go with Dr. Peter Venkman and Dana Barrett from Ghostbusters.
I knew it.
Give me Bill Murray all day.
I was like, how is he not
Sigourney Weaver? Come on.
I didn't know how you waited that long to get there.
Well, because I kind of felt like Ghostbusters would be there for me in the end.
Yeah, you know I wouldn't pick that. It's not high on my list. All right, this is a tough one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close one in the end.
Yeah, because I think we picked really good movies that everyone knows. That's a big part of this.
Yeah, so to play along with this, sometime after this episode comes out, we'll actually post the game, or we'll post our picks on Instagram, and you can vote for the winner.
I'll probably do these on Valentine's Day just for the nostalgia of it.
Okay, cool.
Seems like a good vibe.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So that makes my lineup Chucky and Tiffany from Bride of Chucky, Morticia and Gomez from The Addams Family, Kim and Edward Scissorhands from Edward Scissorhands, and Grace and Daniel from Ready or Not.
Yep. I got Ed and Lorraine Warren from The Conjuring. I have Barbara and Adam Maitland from Beetlejuice. Then I took Columbus and Wichita from Zombieland. And then, of course, I rounded out with Dr. Venkman and Dana Barrett from Ghostbusters.
I love how it's kind of like some of our favorite movies, too. We just went with our favorites.
All right, that's it. We'll be back next week. A little preview there. I was thinking of doing the, what's his face? Now I can't remember his name.
What? I don't know what you're saying.
The director of Jordan Peele. I was thinking about doing the Jordan Peele ones.
Well, yeah, we wanted to do for Black History Month now. Like we get to split the month up a little bit and pull out some Black History Month moments for us. Yeah, I'm totally down.
Yeah, so we should do Get Out and Us. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, love it.
All right, we'll do that next week.
Amazing. Don't forget about our contest. Comment on any YouTube videos. Every comment counts, or the giveaway post. It's like 4 posts in at this point. You can't miss it.
Awesome. All right. Take it easy, guys. And remember, we don't give awards for art.